Okay, this is lesson 5 that try to define corporate culture and culture clash, and in fact make it as a tool that can be measured. And this is an important part of mergers and acquisitions. Everybody talk about it, but what is it anyway? What is culture? There are many definitions of cultures, and this is out of the space of discourse to deal with all these definitions. We know that we see something different in different organizations, but we will focus on the part that we don't see. We want to understand the basic assumptions that drive top executives to their decisions. And the main idea is here that when two top executives with different assumptions, different philosophies of how to manage an organization to arrive to success, these two come together, they may face a lot of problems to work together, because each organization develops its own culture while dealing with challenges inside and outside the organization. And they develop different kind of beliefs on what is important, different kind of assumptions on how to arrive to success. And we can find in each industry many successful organizations with different type of assumptions. And I would like to describe some of those assumptions. I will show you 7 dimensions that cover many assumptions in each organization. They are not covering all assumptions and all beliefs. It's not exhaustive, but those are important. And what is interesting is that while measuring cultural differences among these different dimensions, these differences can predict all kinds of human resource problems that we mentioned earlier. In other words, I remind, high cultural differences cause high stress, high negative attitudes, lower commitment to success, and lower cooperation between the two companies. That's why we want to learn and identify where may be challenges in trying to live together and manage the combined organization in mergers and acquisitions. These are the 7 corporate culture dimensions, and I will immediately describe each dimension. One, talk about innovation and action orientation of each company. Another, talk about performance orientation, and so on. So let's go and see what are the various dimensions. The first dimension is innovation and action orientations. Top executives, teams, differ one from other on the way they look on innovation and rapid response to changes at the environment of the organization. For example, in one company, the top executives will agree that it's very important to act fast and seize opportunities before competitors. At the other organizations, they'll say that if you act fast, it's not careful, it's risky, there is no need to jump on some opportunities before you learn them carefully, and if you lose one opportunity, you will find opportunity later. This means that there is no bad or wrong assumption or culture. They are different. This is by definition different. So we need to learn these differences. Another important dimension of culture is related to risk-taking orientation. One company say we have to take risks. Without risk we cannot be successful. The other company will say we have to be careful. We have to learn the risk and decide why to take high risk. Maybe we can do it with lower risks. And risk relates to all kind of investment. When you invest in a new venture, when you purchase some equipment, or invest in research and development of new product, risks are involved in this and in every steps in organization. So if the two teams are very different in risk, they will have problems to cooperate. Performance orientation is another way of how you look on outputs and if you measure outputs and how the job is done. This is also a source of differences between two top management teams in a merger. The way you give autonomy and responsibility, the way you delegate to lower level important decisions is also based on the assumptions. So in one team they will say, oh, if we give a lot of autonomy, this is very good, people will be creative and motivated. But in the other companies they may say, we have to be careful not to give a lot of autonomy because we lose control and we don't want to lose control. Now from this dimension, you can think how culture shape organizational structure. Some structure are very decentralized, other very centralized. So you can imagine now that if in one company they believe that it's good for performance to give autonomy, they will have an organizational structure that is more decentralized versus other teams that think differently. Lateral integration is the relationship on the same level of managers and departments. And in some company, the belief is that it's important to share knowledge between departments. In other companies, they believe that it is better to let the different divisions and units to compete one against the other. And if they compete, they will do a lot of efforts to be successful. So again, different way of thinking about what leads to success in management. Top management contact refer the way top managers relate to medium level managers or to lower level management and so on. Some companies believe that it is very good to let the lower level managers to talk freely about problems, to raise conflicts, and they believe that it's important to give a lot of support to lower level managers. In other companies, they say that if you give too much support and too much warmth and too much let people to talk about problems, people will not be motivated to do work and it will be difficult to control them. Finally, the reward orientation, the way company reward managers and employees is based on their beliefs on how is best to reward people. And companies also differ on this. So should we pay competitively and fairly to each people, or should we compare to industry average, or should we do it according to each one performance? Those are different perspectives on reward orientation, and again, all this may lead to conflict between the two top management teams. I will not, and those may not be able to cooperate one with the other, and as I say, it raises conflicts and problems, and they may suffer to work together. So, if you read lesson 5, you can get more information about how to analyze the structure, what the culture of the organization, how you learn about cultural dimension in organization, what sources of information can help you learn about these cultural differences.